Good evening, loyal viewers. I'm Matt Zamari, and this is my trusty sidekick, Brad Guy.
G'day, sidekick. Yeah, thanks for the flattering intro, Matt.
No worries. Sadly, this is our last episode of Real for another season, which means we are both out of work in about 26 minutes.
Yeah, great. I'm just actually liking it.
To celebrate our unemployment, in this final episode of our series on sustainability, we're going to look closely at the cost of living and managing your personal finances.
Good, Matt, because I could use the tips, actually.
Well, it could be worse, Brad. We could be living in Zurich, Switzerland.
Zurich?
The world's most expensive city, where petrol can reach a scary $2.26 per litre.
Far out. I think I'd rather walk, actually.
That's true. Now, between our parents and David Koch, there's no shortage of financial advice. Emma went to the streets to ask, what's the best advice you've received on how to save money?
From the very first time any of us ask our parents for money, we're told there's nothing for nothing in this world. No one gets a free ride. And it's with that in mind that we decided to hit the streets to ask people, what's the best money-saving tip you've ever gotten?
Don't have children, especially daughters.
Plan, organize, save.
Just spend it. Don't save. What are we saving for?
Forget the people that lent you money. It's gone.
You shouldn't save for the long run. You should save for the year. That way you can have a holiday at the end of the year, or you can do whatever you want with your money.
One of the best tips I've been given, even though I don't follow it that much myself as much as I try to, is, make your own food.
While there are certain subsets of our generation that have everything handed to them, there's always going to be someone else working doubly hard to make ends meet. It's with that in mind that we kept searching for the best answer on money saving.
Don't spend it all at once.
Save. Don't get into credit. No, it's not good. Debit cards are really good things, I think.
And then when you get a good paying job, then you can save for a house and all that.
We're not going to take it with us, so just spend it. That's why I say it.
So whether you choose to save for a rainy day or you just can't go without that next pair of shoes, it seems that money saving versus spending is always going to be a divided issue. Emma O'Keefe reporting for Real.
So, Brad, what's the best financial advice you've received?
Well, Matty, I got my financial advice from the one and only Mel Gibson and Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
That is, sign a prenup.
Oh, what a cheap shot. Well, let's focus now on the cost of living in Melbourne. In the past year alone, the price of retail goods has risen 15% across the board, while Melburnians are forking out a further 25% on their restaurant bill.
Don't tell me that, Matty. Well, look, this is what gets under my skin.
Yeah.
The price of movie tickets.
Oh, you're so right.
Yeah, in the past 5 years, the price of movie tickets has risen 24%.
That's a joke. We need a cheaper hobby. Here's something that might inspire us. The next segment profiles Ari Shaw, an unassuming Brunswick resident, and his modest hobby of building bikes from unwanted materials off the street. Ari proves how a hobby based around a do-it-yourself mentality can be fun, affordable, and lead to sustainable living. Check it out.
I've always loved bikes. As long as I knew that they existed, they've been great fun. Hi, I'm Ari and I ride bikes. Melbourne's great for riding. It really is, compared to other cities that I've been in. The traffic, car-wise, drivers can be really, really dangerous. But you get that everywhere you go. There's just, people are really aggressive here. Cyclists and motorists are really, really aggressive. So I guess unless you want to sort of take that on a little bit at least and be maybe a little bit aggressive yourself, then you just end up getting wiped off the road. I find most of the frames and parts on Hard Rubbish. Every now and again I'll find a complete bike that maybe just needs one tyre or even just a tube or something like that. Go and source the parts from a shop and get it running, clean them up, strip the paint off, repaint them, whatever it is. Bikes are my way of getting around. It's hard to call it a passion
So have you ever made something from scratch?
Mate, I wouldn't even know how to fold a paper plane.
I think I'm in the same boat, but it's a great hobby Ari has. He'd save so much money on petrol.
Yeah, but Matt, not everyone can just ride their bike all around the city. What if you live on the other side of town?
No, you've got a good point. I mean, in the end, it all comes down to making smart choices with your money.
Yep, spot on, Matty. Well, given the financial rollercoaster the world's economy has gone through in the past few years, we have to be a lot smarter with how we spend our big paychecks.
Mate, you know this is Channel 31, right?
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Well, lucky for us, after the break, we'll be joined by La Trobe University accounting professor Ken McPhail, who'll give us a few pointers on how to manage our money effectively. So, stick around. Welcome back to Real. We now have the absolute pleasure of being joined by none other than La Trobe University accounting professor Ken McPhail. Ken, welcome.
Thanks, Matthew. It's a privilege to be here.
This episode, we've been looking at cheap alternatives to transport, and we thought you could help us look at alternative fuels. As we know, our current oil resources are depleting and rising in cost at the same time. To combat this, in the last couple of years, we've started to hear a lot about biofuels as governments around the world proudly promote national targets. What exactly is biofuel, and how are we achieving these targets set by the government?
Yes, Matthew, it's a big challenge for us as we try and grapple with the problems of carbon emissions and the impact that they have on the environment. So lots of countries have set themselves targets to reduce carbon emissions, and one of the ways that they've been doing that is by switching from fossil fuels to biofuels. So biofuels would be an energy source, if you like, that's produced from crops. So we would grow them rather than mine for them. So a lot of the demand for biofuel is coming from places like the European Union, here in Australia, and the demand for biofuel, and in order to meet the targets that they've set, they can really only do that by purchasing crops from developing economies.
Surely promoting renewable fuel has to be a good thing, doesn't it? What are the negatives?
Okay, well, with biofuel, there's quite a number of issues to think about. So if it's land that we require, then the question is, where is that land going to come from? And what we're finding is that in some contexts, we're chopping down rainforest in order to grow crops that will be suitable for producing biofuel. We have a tension then between using land to generate food and using land to generate crops for biofuel. As a consequence, we're finding that food prices are really beginning to spike. Now, that means that people who perhaps most in need of food can't afford it.
Going back to what you were saying before with the sustainability of the crops, in other words, we're risking a human's right, to food in our attempts to save the environment. What's the point of having a cleaner planet if there's going to be a significantly less amount of people to be able to enjoy it?
It's a very interesting question. What's the point of having a sustainable world if that world is unjust?
Yeah.
Or what's the point of having a sustainable world if in that world individuals can't exercise their rights to whatever? And I think we're just beginning to see the complexity in the way that those two issues, human rights and sustainability, are interconnected and interwoven together.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on our show. It's great to hear, some expert opinion on the subject of sustainability. So thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're now going to play a documentary titled Alternative to Money, directed by La Trobe student Anna Gonzalez. It shows how the neo-nomad lifestyle based on the key fundamentals of shelter, food and transport can help people deal with the rising costs of living. Let's check it out.
Tatiana, an international student who just arrived in Melbourne from Ecuador. Traveling can be difficult to sustain financially, and one might have to seek out alternatives to money in order to survive. On my travels, I heard about an organization called Couchsurfing, so I decided to check it out.
I'm Leonie Stouffer, I'm 29 years old, I'm a receptionist and a Couchsurfing ambassador. Couchsurfing is a network of like-minded people around the world who are willing to offer their spare surface, whether it be a couch, a bed, a spare room, the floor, anything for weary travellers around the world who want to stay in the locals' houses. The experience has become more genuine when there's no money involved. I first heard about it when I was travelling in Munich. I was in a hostel and I met these two Canadians who basically, we were hanging out and playing pool together, and they said, oh yeah, we've been couch surfing. And I'm like, well, what's couch surfing? And they've gone, well, we just stay on people's couches. And I had the same reaction as everybody did. I'm like, you just stay on people's couches? Why? Why would you do that? Did you know these people? Oh no, we don't know them at all.
Hi, how are you? I'm Tatiana from Couchsurfing.
Right, hey, how you going? I'm Eben.
I'm good.
Come on in, have a look at the place, all right?
Thank you.
Yeah, so you'll just be sleeping in here. You can take your bag if you like. Yep. So this couch, that'll be your bed. Make yourself at home. The kitchen's through there and the bathroom's down the hall. So,
Cool.
yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll leave you to it. I'll go do some work, okay?
Yep, sure.
I came back from travels in 2010 and I was really just wanted to get back into travelling, yet I was stuck at uni and I needed to be in Australia. So I found Couchsurfing and I joined up. It's kind of just, it's the method in which we connect and not, the reason. The reason is you or her or him or whatever, and meeting people and getting to know everyone.
My host told me about a restaurant called Lentil as Anything, which implements a system called Pay As You Feel.
My name's Kai Bartel. I'm the manager at Lentil as Anything in Abbotsford. Lentil as Anything is a group of restaurants. It's based on the idea that if you create a community and allow them to support each other and have the expectation that everyone deserves a place at the table, that the community sort of will flourish. We have volunteers that come and keep a 173-seat restaurant running.
Hi, my name's Joshua Tomlinson, 21 years old, and been working at Lentils for about 2 years now.
Hi, my name's Martin. I'm a volunteer at Lentil as Anything.
Mi nombre es Roberto, trabajo en el Lentils y soy mexicano.
私の名前は千田直子です。で、レンティルアズエニシングには3ヶ月働いています。
We see all different people come through here. You don't have to be an alternative hippie to enjoy the Lentil experience.
And regardless of your current economic status, you can get a meal, which is very important. So there's a lot of students, a lot of young people. So.
We're the same as any other restaurant. We have rent, electricity and gas. It's an absolute miracle on a daily basis that we continue to run, but we also continue to thrive. and that for 12 years people just keep on coming.
I pay about like $10 or $15 if I can, but there's been times where I've paid $2 or $5 because I don't have a lot.
Whatever you give, you get back. So one time you can be paying more, and the next time you don't, you're a bit out of money, and you know that you'll be, sort of looking after that later. It's about growing, maybe emotionally and spiritually and creatively and intellectually. It's about growth.
It's kind of like this really amazing thing that something good is happening and people pass that on.
One of the helpful waiters at Lentil As Anything suggested I visit the bike shed.
Excuse me, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking to make a bike here.
Okay, all these bikes are donated. They need a bit of work on them. We don't fix bikes. We will help you fix a bike. I'm Craig Newcombe. I'm the secretary of the bike shed. I've been secretary for 2 and a bit years now. Bike Shed's a bunch of bike tragics that have nothing else to do, and we all come down here and fix people's bike or help people fix their own bikes, so we're skilling them up. But we love it. We spend far too much time down here. So we've got the tools inside, we've got the parts and with experience, but we'll show you what to do.
I'm the one doing it.
You're the one holding the spanner.
Yeah,
Oh
nice.
yes, getting the hands dirty. I'm just going to give moral support. And we love helping people, so we're trying to get a bike culture going in Melbourne, a proper one. And we're trying to show people how to fix their bikes because it's expensive and time consuming if you don't know what you're doing. And if you know, it's fairly straightforward. If this is running smoothly, the whole bike feels really good, even if it's a mediocre bike. This is a good bike, so if we can get this right, it's going to ride really, really well. So I'm going to hold it, and you're going to tighten it, okay? So just gently tighten it. No, righty-tighty. Yep, that's tightening it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And give it a twist to see how does that feel. It's a good initiative for anyone. Any level of people coming in here, we like to help, from people who are very advanced to people who've never lifted a spanner in their life and just saying put the 10mm spanner on the 10mm nut. Everything is donated from the community. That's why we feel part. We feel supported by the community. Without that, we couldn't survive. What do travellers do? I think they're coming for the experience. They take a bike away. They're here for maybe a week, less than a week in Melbourne. And going out with a $30 bike is cheap transport. What do I get out of being part of the bike shed is a huge sense of satisfaction. We help so many people, and that's one of the things I really find special here.
That was Alternative Money by Ana Gonzalez. Brad, I thought Lentil As Anything was a great concept. Honesty is pretty rare these days.
Yeah, you're spot on that. We can all take a leaf at the Neo Nomad book, I reckon, help each other out, and life will be a little bit easy for all of us.
You know what doesn't make life easy though? A trip to the mechanic. To help us out, let's meet Greg Parsons, the owner of a Campbellfield wrecking yard, who has some handy tips on how you can be your own mechanic and save on those expensive car troubles.
My name is Greg Parsons. I'm a motor mechanic. When I was at school, I used to work part-time at a Shell service station on the weekends and after hours, and it just sort of flowed on from there. The benefits of having a wrecking yard is you can recycle your parts, so that has a cheaper start cost to begin with. Used parts in auto repair is a huge saving on lots of different benefits. The benefit number one, I suppose, is the fact cost. You've got second-hand parts, second-hand cars, as the saying goes, and you know, a majority of the parts are well and truly, you know, a third or so less than the cost of new. Some parts aren't available new anymore, so you know, your second-hand stuff's definitely the way to go if you can. Maintenance is probably the biggest thing. Regular service intervals. You know, prevention's always better than a cure, as the saying goes. So if you service your car regularly, maintain your tyre, correct tyre pressures, and so forth, you know, fingers crossed you'll have a greater lifespan on your vehicle. Our most common one probably is a Ford or a Holden, even though, say, Toyota is down as selling the most vehicles in the country, but no, probably Ford and Holden. Biggest problem is lack of maintenance. That seems to be the biggest problem with them. People don't have a maintenance regime and they just get it done when they think or when it breaks down. Well, you know, that just adds extra cost to everything. So no worries, guys. Thanks very much.
Well, unfortunately, Brad, all good things must come to an end.
So that means this episode never has to end?
Ah, yet another golden one-liner from you.
Mate, it's just my thing, it's what I do.
Unfortunately, everyone, that is the end of another great season here at Real. This season's look at sustainability gave us all an insight into how to live, dress, build and entertain ourselves in ways that will not only protect the future of our environment, but help each other out along the way. Thanks to everyone here at La Trobe. The team can't wait to do it all again next year. Until then...
Keep it real, Melbourne.
Dude, that's my line.
Right,
dude, I'm the host. You've had your chance.
Yeah.